And then I made Romantic Homicide, and it was so different than everything else I had made because it was actually sad. It was slow, it was sad, it was emotional.
Sounding like he was confessing to something heavy on tape. People can't believe their ears. The audio makes it sound like he admitted to being tied up in the tragic case of Celeste Rivas, who was later found in a Tesla. And get this, whispers online are saying his own team might have already known about it. That's wild. The story only gets crazier. There's even a video floating around showing David hanging out with Celeste, which fans say looks way too close for comfort. Folks online are pointing at this clip like, see? He was way too caught up with her. The internet's been running with it, turning every second of that footage into so-called evidence. But here's the jaw-dropper. On September 17th, 2025, the very same day Celeste's remains were officially identified, an unreleased demo track called Celeste suddenly leaked online. And this isn't just some random love ballad. It's a 2-minute, 47-second track that fans are calling a straight-up confession in disguise. People are saying he practically sang out the storyline before the news even hit. The production is that signature lo-fi vibe David always brings, but the lyrics? Man, they're dark, chilling, and sending shockwaves through every listener who dares to press play. Independent experts wasted no time digging into this leak, and the results are terrifying. The vocals and production style line up exactly with David's known work from his 2023 sessions, and the file's metadata even shows it was recorded in December 2023 inside a Hollywood home studio. That's a full 4 months before Celeste ever went missing, which makes everything sound even darker. And here's the part that really shook fans to the core. In the bridge, David doesn't just hint, he calls her out by name. The lyrics go, "Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed." Then suddenly he adds, "Missing you so much makes me depressed, but I digress because..." And just like that, the track cuts into an instrumental solo, almost like he realized he spilled too much. People can't stop replaying that section. Fans immediately connected the tattooed on her chest bar to Celeste Rivas's finger tattoo that read, "Shh," a tattoo David himself copied and inked on his own finger back in September 2024. Then there's the chilling line about, "Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes." And this one gave people goosebumps. Why? Because 2 yard workers claimed that when the Tesla was finally hauled in, the stench coming from the vehicle was foul and unforgettable. The track didn't stay underground for long either. It first surfaced on X through a Dropbox link in January 2024, allegedly passed around by a producer. And within hours, the post went viral, racking up over 700 likes and non-stop reactions. From there, the track spread like wildfire. TikTok clips, YouTube reactions, and SoundCloud uploads all blew up overnight. By September 18th, it had already passed 1.5 million plays across platforms. Screenshots from David's private fan Discord and alleged call transcripts started surfacing. And these weren't just harmless chats. Between March and August 2024, nearly a dozen screenshots made the rounds, and what they claim to show is chilling.
According to TMZ, just last night, the office listed the victim's gender as female, a height of about 5'1" and 71 pounds. This person has wavy black hair, and she apparently has a tattoo on her right index finger that reads, "Shh." Apparently, she had been wearing a tube top, black leggings, had a metal stud earring, and a metal chain bracelet in the shape of a W. According to TMZ, though, to be more specific here, there is no definitive conclusion as to age, gender, or cause.
Fans allege these messages captured David coordinating the cover-up, even bragging about keeping Celeste quiet forever. The most damning screenshot is stamped April 10th, 2024, just days after Celeste vanished. In one private group chat, David allegedly typed, "Celeste flipped out last night, had to calm her, permanent. Wrapped her tight in the FR plastic from Amazon, park it in Hollywood Hills, let it sit till towed. No tickets on it yet." That wasn't all. Someone in the chat pushed back, saying, "Body disposal risky AF." And David allegedly shot back, "Tour alibi covers me. Send $1,000 each for silence. She's gone quiet forever now." The phrasing shocked fans because it sounded way too close to the crime details. Even worse, the chilling phrase, "wrapped her tight in the FR plastic," lined up almost exactly with what investigators later reported. Celeste's remains were discovered inside a black duffel bag in the Tesla's front trunk, tightly wrapped in plastic. The overlap between the alleged messages and the real evidence has people convinced this wasn't just talk. It was a blueprint for what really went down. That chilling, "quiet forever" line had the internet in shock, with fans saying it sounded like David was bragging, especially since it echoed his hit track, "Romantic Homicide." But things only got darker when alleged call transcripts dropped, supposedly capturing him mapping out the whole cover-up. One transcript dated April 11th, 2024, showed what was reported as a 28-minute call. In it, David allegedly said, "Yo, Celeste wouldn't stop texting threats. Had to end it quick, chokehold in the car. Now she's packed, smells already. Drive the Tesla to Hills tomorrow. Leave keys under mat. Tow yard handles the rest. Body rots quiet." That detail about a chokehold hit fans hard because the official cause of death is still under review. But investigators have hinted strangulation is being considered based on the remains. And the location, right on the nose. The Tesla was abandoned in the Hollywood Hills and later hauled away for unpaid tickets, exactly like the call described. But the bragging didn't stop there. Another transcript from July 15th, 2024, allegedly captured David saying, "Law, she silenced. Eternal trunk tomb. No traces. Brag to the song, but fans too dumb. Paid to forget. Now it's my best plot." That trunk tomb phrase and the brag to the song line had listeners convinced he wasn't just admitting something awful, he was almost celebrating it. To make it worse, the paper trail points to hush money. Screenshots from payment apps show over $8,000 sent out by David through Venmo and Cash App with notes like, "For the Celeste, things stay silent," and "If cops ask, you never met her." Fans say this looks like someone not only hiding secrets, but paying people to keep the story buried. "I made it look like she ran away." That single line has been haunting fans ever since the leaks dropped. David's team rushed to shut everything down, calling the audio, screenshots, and transcripts malicious edits meant to destroy the reputation of an innocent artist. But here's the thing, the LAPD hasn't thrown any of it out either, and that silence speaks volumes. The problem for David is simple. Too many details from these supposed leaks match what investigators actually uncovered. The timing lines up, the location lines up, even the way the body was wrapped matches almost perfectly with what was found. It's all right there, and the internet is eating it up. What really twists the knife is how these leaks suggest David believed he could outsmart everybody by hiding behind his tour schedule. While he was performing in different cities, the Tesla sat abandoned with the body inside, slowly decomposing. To fans, it now looks like he mapped this out months ahead of time, using concerts as a built-in alibi, while the evidence sat hidden in plain sight. And then there's the attitude, allegedly bragging in Discord chats and weaving references into his music? That paints the picture of someone who thought fame made him untouchable. Once these leaks hit the internet, chaos erupted. Hashtags like hashtag D4vd leaks and hashtag Justice for Celeste blew up across X and TikTok, pulling in more than 1.2 billion views in record time. For many, this was no longer just gossip. It felt like the receipts had finally gone public. By September 18th, 2025, the public reaction was nothing short of brutal. Fans felt completely betrayed by someone they once believed was a wholesome, rising star. Outrage exploded across every platform. The disappointment was loud and raw. One ex-supporter posted, "I'm so angry. I was confident he hadn't done anything. Waking up to this new evidence today makes me feel sick. I pray for her family, and I pray Celeste gets her justice." That message struck a chord, and thousands of former fans echoed the same pain and disgust, saying they could never look at David the same again.
Authorities are treating this as a death investigation. A spokesperson for the singer, whose real name, by the way, is David Anthony Burke, said in a statement to NBC News that he, quote, has been informed about what's happened, and although he is still out on tour, he is fully cooperating with the authorities. Now, we're going to talk about potential legal consequences here, but I have to say the singer may already be feeling the economic consequence.
The timeline breakdowns being shared online convinced many that David's guilt was undeniable. People were connecting dots between the leaks, the unreleased song, and the actual crime scene. The chilling overlap between his lyrics and the way the body was discovered had social media convinced this wasn't coincidence. It was confession through music. The betrayal cut even deeper because so many fans grew up supporting him, seeing him as talented and harmless. That's why watching the wave of heartbreak online was so intense. One viral comment summed it up. I don't know if David is guilty in a court of law, but the way he moved makes it clear he wasn't who we thought he was. He crossed lines, and now someone's gone. People couldn't get over the fact that while fans were streaming his songs, he was allegedly bragging about hiding a body in a trunk. And then the body was actually discovered in a trunk. That connection alone pushed the outrage into overdrive, turning former stans into some of his loudest critics. The leak song is disgusting. Rest in peace, Celeste Rivas. That's how one post summed up the outrage sweeping across social media. The grooming allegations stacked on top of the claims created the ultimate storm, fueling a tidal wave of anger and disbelief online. One TikTok creator claimed the Discord leaks showed him texting Celeste when she was way too young, while others shared clips calling the evidence undeniable. But not everyone was ready to throw the book at David. A small group of fans tried to defend him, though their voices were drowned out fast by the mob. One supporter even tried to do damage control, writing, "Nothing is confirmed yet, so before you start spreading rumors, do your research. If the worst happens and David is found guilty of anything, I'll change my whole account. I don't support anything like that." Their plea was buried under waves of backlash, but it showed that a fraction of fans still clung to doubt. Some skeptics pointed to his tour schedule as proof, questioning if the leaks were real. One creator even argued, "From the article, David was on tour, so it's giving somebody set him up or another scenario." That line of thought grew into the framed theory, the idea that David was a victim of a takedown, not the mastermind of a crime. Meanwhile, the numbers told a different story. Streams of romantic homicide first crashed by 40% as boycotts spread, but then spiked by over 300% as people dug through the lyrics like detectives searching for hidden clues. This wild phenomenon, nicknamed the takeout bump, proved just how controversy can twist engagement, even when fans are horrified by what they're hearing. TikTok videos syncing the leaked lyrics with footage of the Tesla discovery only pushed the story deeper into viral infamy. Over 50 million views later, the bridge of that leaked track still gives people chills. The part where David sings about Celeste being wrapped up tight went viral because her actual body was discovered wrapped in plastic, making it one of the most haunting viral moments in recent memory. And what's David said about it all? Nothing. His social media has been completely silent. His last post on X was September 10th, just a promo for his tour. Since then, he hasn't addressed a single allegation directly. Instead, his team has been carefully handling the narrative with polished media statements.
He got in touch with Celeste's mother, and the mother told us, because what the police had come out with was that the girl had a tattoo on her right index finger that said S.
Even before they could find out her name, they obviously had the body parts and they released some information.
And it was on her index finger. It said SHHH with 3 dots or 4 dots, and that's all we knew. The mother told us that my daughter had a tattoo on her right index finger that said the same thing, and that the tattoo, she told us, in fact, Anakin, she only spoke Spanish, so Anakin spoke to her.
TMZ reported on a supposed encounter with Celeste's mother, while NBC News got a more formal response that read, "Devastated by the tragedy." These rumors are coincidental, art twisted into lies. praying for Celeste's family. That phrase, coincidental art, didn't sit right with the public. Fans called it tone deaf, especially given how the lyrics lined up with the leaked screenshots and messages. Even more telling than the silence is David's sudden shift in behavior. On September 17th and 18th, he canceled shows in Seattle and then pushed back his San Francisco dates, citing personal matters. For an artist who built his whole career off staying connected with fans, that quiet disappearance felt louder than any denial he could have given. Now, the internet's divided into three main camps, each pushing its own theory. The first, and by far the loudest, is that David is guilty of premeditated tragic act. According to sentiment analysis from X, this theory dominates almost 70% of the online conversation, and the number keeps growing. Supporters of the guilty theory point straight to the receipts, the detailed leaks, the identical tattoos, the timeline putting David in LA when Celeste disappeared, and of course the chilling lyrics that seem to mirror the crime scene. For many, those dots connect too neatly to ignore, but not everyone's buying it. The second theory, backed by around 20% of posts online, insists David was framed, either by industry rivals or obsessive fans who wanted to end his career. These defenders highlight major red flags. David was on tour during key dates. The screenshots lack proper watermarks, and deepfake technology could have easily been used to fake the audio. They also argue that the matching tattoo isn't as rare as people think and might not prove anything. Then there's the third camp, about 10% of the conversation, that sees the situation as an accident gone horribly wrong. This theory suggests the tragedy may have started with a heated argument that spiraled out of control, followed by a desperate cover-up rather than a premeditated plan. Reddit threads point to alleged messages mentioning Celeste flipping out as possible evidence of a fight before everything escalated. The comparisons have only made the drama bigger. Social media users are drawing parallels to other major celebrity scandals, claiming the industry too often ignores troubling behavior until it's too late. Names like R. Kelly pop up constantly in these debates, with people saying fame can sometimes shield artists from consequences. Authentic or fabricated, the leaked evidence has turned into a feeding frenzy online, and the storm isn't slowing down anytime soon. David's reputation and career are already in ruins in the court of public opinion. The only question left is whether law enforcement can back up the viral accusations with solid evidence, or if this whole storm ends as an internet conviction only. This is the story of David Anthony Burke, known to the world as David. Once the face of an indie R&B revolution, now branded as the center of one of the darkest scandals the industry has ever seen.
Said that she had a boyfriend.
That's right, that she had a boyfriend and his name was David. And the mother never really got in contact with David, like she never saw him.
She didn't know who the David was.
She had heard of him. And it seemed like the last time that she had seen her daughter was when she had gone out.
Born March 28th, 2005, in Queens, New York, and raised in Houston, Texas, David looked like he was living the dream. By just 20 years old, he had climbed from recording tracks in his sister's closet to topping the Billboard charts, proof of everything inspiring about the digital music age. But now, the allegations tied to Celeste Rivas flipped that dream into a nightmare, exposing the dark side of fame and unchecked access to fans. His journey started humbly. In Houston, he set up shop in his sister's closet, recording lo-fi tracks to soundtrack his Fortnite montages. Teaching himself production on FL Studio, David began uploading original songs to SoundCloud in late 2021. His raw blend of rap, indie, and R&B cut through the polished noise of mainstream music, resonating with Gen Z listeners desperate for something authentic in an industry drowning in copy-paste artists. The breakthrough came in July 2022 with Romantic Homicide, the track that launched him into stardom. The song blew up on TikTok, hit number 33 on the Billboard Hot 100, and racked up more than 1 billion Spotify streams. Lyrics like, "I don't love you, but I still act like I do," "Your Heart Was Just Too Big for Me" became an anthem for disillusioned young listeners everywhere. But the same song that made him famous would later be tied to accusations that threatened to end his career forever. "I didn't mean to make you cry, I just wanted to see you bleed." At first, fans brushed off lyrics like these as nothing more than teenage angst and edgy songwriting. But now, they're being replayed under a whole new light, dissected as possible confessions hidden in plain sight. By 2024, David looked unstoppable. He was scoring major placements like contributing "Feel It" to Amazon's Invincible soundtrack and even performing on the Coachella stage. Then came the peak of it all. His debut album Withered, which dropped in April 2025 and went straight to #1 on the Billboard 200, sold out world tours, major label backing, and millions of loyal fans. He was living the dream every young artist chases. But while the spotlight shined bright on the surface, the shadows behind the scenes told a darker story. That's where Celeste Rivas entered the picture. She was a rising TikTok creator from Lake Elsinore, California, trying to build her online presence. With her covers, dance clips, and short-form content, she quickly gained attention from peers and artists alike, including David. Screenshots leaked from David's fan Discord under the channel David's Pets show alleged interactions between the two starting in late 2022. Accounts tied to usernames like CelesteXOXO and David_homicide began exchanging messages after Celeste uploaded a TikTok cover of Romantic Homicide. The alleged progression of those chats painted a troubling picture. Fans claim they reveal classic manipulation tactics, flattery, promises of big opportunities, creating secrecy, and slowly isolating her from outside voices. For investigators, those screenshots are being treated as red flags, potential signs of a relationship that blurred dangerous lines long before the tragedy ever came to light. Leaked Discord screenshots from early 2023 show David allegedly reaching out to Celeste in a way that immediately raised red flags for investigators. In one February message, he reportedly wrote, "Hey cutie, saw your TikTok." You got that vibe I write about. When the chat turned to her age, his response, "Age is just a number. Let's collab, keep it secret." Left fans horrified when the screenshots hit the internet. By mid-2023, the alleged relationship looked like it was escalating. Screenshots suggest David even offered to fly Celeste to Los Angeles, with Venmo payments labeled art inspo that fans claim were used to buy silence from people in her circle. By early 2024, speculation in David's fan server exploded, with some members openly suggesting the two were secretly involved. One alleged March 2024 message from David read, "She's my muse." Kept it low-key, age vibes, shh, our secret. The matching tattoos only fueled suspicions. Celeste had a shh tattoo inked on her finger in 2023, clearly visible in a TikTok clip. Months later, in September 2024, after her disappearance, David got the exact same tattoo. Fans debated whether it was meant as a twisted memorial or a trophy, but either way, it sent chills down their spines. Celeste's mother, Maria Hernandez, later told TMZ that her daughter had mentioned communicating with a boyfriend named David in early 2024 through Snapchat, and that she had spoken about visiting Los Angeles. The family never approved of these trips, making her disappearance all the more devastating. The nightmare climaxed on April 5, 2024, the last day Celeste was seen. According to her brother Matthew, she was supposed to be heading to the movies in Lake Elsinore, but she never came home. Celeste never made it to the movie that night. At 7:42 p.m., she sent what would be her last Snapchat, saying she was heading to LA for a cool opportunity. After that, her phone went offline completely. Friends later said she seemed excited about connecting with a well-known singer online, and Discord logs allegedly show David arranging to meet her that same week. What happened next, according to leaked messages and audio, was a heated argument that spiraled out of control and ended in tragedy. For more than a year, her family had no answers. But on September 8th, 2025, the nightmare came full circle when Celeste's remains were finally discovered. It started with employees at Hollywood Tow and Auto Storage who noticed a foul odor coming from a black Tesla Model 3 that had been impounded after sitting abandoned in the Hollywood Hills for over a month. When they popped the front trunk, they found a black duffel bag, and inside was Celeste's body, badly decomposed and wrapped in plastic. The remains matched exactly what she was wearing when she went missing back in April 2024. A black tube top, black leggings, a yellow bracelet, and stud earrings. The conditions suggested her body had been dismembered to fit inside the confined trunk space, a detail that investigators said pointed to a shocking level of planning and cruelty. On September 17th, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner officially classified the case as a homicide. Because of the advanced state of decomposition, the cause of death couldn't yet be pinned down without toxicology, but the timeline pointed directly back to April 2024, the same week she vanished. That meant her body had likely been left rotting inside that Tesla for nearly 5 months. The scandal has completely shattered David's career and reputation. At first, his streams spiked by over 300% thanks to morbid curiosity, but the backlash came fast. Boycotts spread across streaming platforms, brands cut ties, and his withered world tour is collapsing as venues refuse to be linked with the controversy. David's camp still claims he's innocent, insisting he's cooperating with investigators and repeating that tired phrase, "Art twisted into lies." But the damage is done. The court of public opinion has already slammed its gavel, and those leaked files are circulating online like a permanent digital scarlet letter. As of September 18th, 2025, David hasn't been formally charged, but he remains locked in as a person of interest in an active homicide case. LAPD is digging into DNA samples, phone logs, and Tesla GPS data, while the world watches every update, demanding justice for Celeste Rivas. Authentic or fabricated, the leaks have already ended one career and opened up a worldwide conversation about how unchecked fame can be used and abused when vulnerable fans get pulled into the mix. And the fallout? It's still just beginning. That's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to smash that like, drop your comments below, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. See you on the next one.